Listen to me right now. There will come a point in your life where you realize that the noise around you is drowning out the voice within you. Friends, family, distractions, social media, doubts, opinions. Every single thing pulling at your attention, fighting for your energy, demanding your focus. But if you want to rise, if you want to transform, if you want to become your greatest version, there's one decision you must make. You must disappear, not disappear to run away, not disappear to hide, but disappear to evolve, because the truth is, transformation is not loud. It's not a show. It's not about proving yourself to anyone. It happens in the dark. It happens when no one is watching. It happens when you say, I'm going to cut out the noise, step back, and pour all of my energy into growth. The greatest version of you does not emerge in the spotlight. It's built in silence. While others are distracted, you are disciplined. While others are scrolling, you are studying. While others are talking, you are working. That's what disappearing means. You detach from the external validation, and you get obsessed with your inner elevation. But disappearing is not enough, because disappearing without consistency is just isolation. The key is what you do with that time, and this is where the majority of people fail. They start strong, they disappear for a week, maybe two, but then they come back the same. Why? Because they lack consistency. Consistency is the bridge between who you are and who you want to be. It's the daily, relentless repetition of action that compounds into transformation. You don't go to the gym once and get strong. You don't read one book and become wise. You don't show up for a few days and expect to rewrite your future. You must show up every single day. You must train your mind and your body like your life depends on it, because it does. Understand this. Consistency is not glamorous. It's not exciting. It's boring. It's repetitive. It's doing the same thing day after day with no applause, no recognition, no cheering. But that's where champions are made. That's where greatness is born, in the silence, in the grind, in the invisible moments where you choose discipline over comfort. And here's the powerful truth. The world doesn't see the work you put in, but the world will always feel the results. When you come back, when you rise from that season of silence, you will not be the same person. You will be sharper, stronger, more focused, more disciplined. People will look at you and wonder, what happened? How did they change? And you'll know the answer. It happened when you disappeared, stayed consistent, and refused to quit. But I want you to burn this into your mind. Your greatest version will not show up by accident. It requires a conscious decision. You must decide right now, I will disappear. I will stay consistent. And I will not stop until I become everything I was meant to be. You are not here to play small. You are not here to live average. You are not here to get lost in the noise. You are here to rise. You are here to create. You are here to inspire. You are here to unlock the power that has been lying dormant inside of you, so disappear. Cut the distractions, build your discipline, stay consistent. And when you return, you will not just be another version of yourself. You will be your greatest version. Disappear to evolve, not escape, because disappearing is not about running away from reality. It is about stepping away from the noise that keeps you from hearing yourself. In today's world, we are consumed by distractions, flooded with opinions, and surrounded by endless comparisons. Every ping, every notification, every scroll of the feed is stealing moments of our lives, moments that could have been invested into building the person we know we are meant to be. To disappear is to create a sacred space where growth is possible, where clarity can emerge, and where you can finally separate your vision from the expectations of the world. You cannot grow if you are constantly performing for others. You cannot evolve if your energy is spent proving rather than improving. The greatest version of you is waiting in the silence, waiting in the solitude, waiting for you to make the decision that you are willing to step back in order to step forward with power. Disappearing does not mean cutting everyone off, but it does mean cutting off the habits, the routines, and environments that keep you average. You know the patterns that drain your potential, the late nights wasted, the conversations that go nowhere, the people who do not believe in your vision, and the endless distractions that give you a dopamine rush but rob you of discipline. When you disappear, you strip away the unnecessary. You create an environment where focus becomes your only companion, and focus is the birthplace of transformation. Think of a seed. It does not grow in the open under the gaze of the world. It grows underground in the dark, unseen, until one day it breaks through and everyone notices. That is what disappearing does. It allows you to plant yourself in fertile soil and grow roots so deep that nothing can shake you when you rise. The problem is that most people fear disappearing because they fear being forgotten. They fear that if they are not constantly visible, constantly active, constantly posting or proving, then the world will move on without them. But here's the truth. When you disappear to evolve, you don't come back needing validation. You come back with undeniable transformation. You are not forgotten, you are reborn. You do not vanish, you reinvent. And when you return, people won't remember the time you were silent. They will only remember the power you carry now. Disappearing is not weakness, it is strategy. It is the choice to remove yourself from the stage so you can sharpen your tools backstage. It is the decision to invest in yourself so deeply that when you emerge, your results speak louder than any words ever could. There is a deep strength in choosing to disappear with purpose. It means you are no longer addicted to attention. It means you have matured beyond the need for constant approval. It means you are finally ready to stop chasing validation and start chasing vision. When you disappear, you allow yourself to heal, to study, to train, to recalibrate your mind and body. You begin to see your flaws clearly. You begin to identify your patterns honestly. And you begin to design your future intentionally. You realize that success is not about being seen, it is about being prepared. And preparation does not happen in public, it happens in private. Every champion, every leader, every extraordinary person you admire went through a season of disappearance, where the world did not notice them, but they were building themselves in silence. To disappear to evolve is to understand that solitude is not loneliness, it is power. It is the space where you meet your true self without masks, without distractions, without pretenses. It is where you ask the hard questions: who am I becoming? What am I creating? What do I need to let go of? It is where you hold yourself accountable in ways no audience ever could. Because it is easy to perform when people are watching, but it is powerful when you can perform when no one is. That is the difference between those who stay the same and those who evolve into greatness. You must be willing to withdraw, to retreat, to disappear, not because you are running away, but because you are building a foundation that will sustain everything you are about to step into. Disappear to evolve, not escape. Consistency is the bridge to transformation, because nothing in life that is meaningful or lasting is built in a single day, a single moment, or a single effort. Transformation requires a process, and that process demands that you show up over and over again, long after the initial excitement has faded. Anyone can start. Anyone can feel motivated in the beginning when the vision feels fresh and the energy is high. But transformation does not happen in the beginning. It happens in the middle, in the grind, in the repetition that tests whether you are truly committed or just temporarily interested. Consistency is what takes you from potential to power, from dreaming to doing, from wishing to becoming. Without it, you remain stuck in cycles of starting and stopping, always chasing change but never embodying it. With it, you cross the bridge to becoming the version of yourself you've imagined. The truth about consistency is that it is not glamorous. It is not about massive leaps that impress people. It is about small steps that compound over time. Reading 10 pages a day doesn't seem like much, but in a year you've consumed multiple books that could shift your perspective forever. Doing 10 push-ups today may not change your body, but 1,000 push-ups across months will change not only your body but your mind. Waking up early one morning might feel insignificant, but making it a habit creates discipline that bleeds into every area of your life. That is the hidden power of consistency, the small, seemingly unimportant actions that accumulate into extraordinary results. Most people fail because they underestimate the power of small daily commitments. But transformation lives in those commitments. Consistency is also the ultimate test of integrity. It asks you whether you are willing to honor your promises to yourself even when no one is watching. It forces you to ask, do I show up only when it feels good? Or do I show up because I said I would? This is where the separation happens. Most people want results without repetition. They want progress without persistence. But the bridge does not work that way. To cross from who you are to who you want to be, you must keep walking, step after step, day after day. No shortcuts, no excuses, no breaks when it gets uncomfortable. The bridge is built with your actions, and only consistency lays the bricks that hold the weight of transformation. What makes consistency so challenging is not that the actions themselves are hard, but that the mind craves novelty. Your mind wants variety, your emotions want comfort, your body wants ease. Consistency is unnatural to the part of you that seeks quick satisfaction, which is why most people abandon the path. But those who understand that transformation is not about feelings, but about standards keep going regardless. They learn to detach from whether they feel motivated and instead tie themselves to commitment. They train themselves to act out of discipline rather than emotion, and in doing so, they build a momentum that eventually carries them forward even on the days they want to quit. That is the secret power of consistency. Once you push through the resistance long enough, consistency itself becomes habit, and habit becomes identity. When you are consistent, you begin to rewire not just your actions but your belief system. Every time you show up, every time you follow through, you are proving to yourself that you are reliable, that you are capable, that you can be trusted with your own dreams. This is how transformation happens on the deepest level, not just in the external results, but in the internal conviction that you can depend on yourself. Imagine the strength that comes from truly believing that if you set a goal, you will follow through until it is done. That kind of self-belief cannot be built in bursts. It is forged through consistency, through showing up again and again until your mind no longer questions your ability to finish what you start. Consistency is the bridge to transformation because it is the only path that guarantees progress. No matter how slow, you may not see results today, you may not see results this week, but every day you show up, you are laying another brick on the bridge. You are moving closer, whether you feel it or not. One day, without even realizing it, you will look back and see how far you've come, and you will know it was not one big moment that got you there. It was the 1,000 small ones that compounded over time. The bridge only exists for those who are willing to walk it daily, who are willing to endure the boredom, the repetition, the grind, because they know that on the other side of consistency lies transformation. Discipline over comfort creates greatness, because comfort will always tempt you to stay the same while discipline demands that you grow. Every single day you are faced with choices, and those choices determine the trajectory of your life. Do you hit snooze or do you get up? Do you choose the workout or the couch? Do you push yourself to study, to build, to create, or do you let yourself drift in distractions that give you nothing back? Comfort whispers that you've done enough, that you can relax, that you can put it off until tomorrow. Discipline reminds you that tomorrow is shaped by what you do today, that every action is a vote for the person you are becoming, that greatness does not negotiate with laziness. The difference between those who achieve extraordinary things and those who remain ordinary is not talent, not luck, not even opportunity, is the willingness to choose discipline over comfort in the moments that matter most. Discipline is the act of aligning your actions with your vision. Regardless of how you feel in the moment, feelings are fleeting, they rise and fall like waves, and if you let them dictate your behavior, you will never build the foundation required for success. Comfort thrives on feelings. It tells you to do what feels good now, what feels easy, what feels safe. But discipline ignores the pull of the temporary and fixes its eyes on the permanent. It is the voice that says, I don't care if you're tired. I don't care if you don't feel like it. This is what needs to be done. And when you obey that voice, you carve strength into your character. You train yourself to stop being controlled by comfort and start being driven by commitment. That is the essence of greatness. The ability to do what must be done even when every fiber of your being wants to stop comfort is the enemy of growth, because growth requires struggle, challenge, and discomfort. Think about your muscles. They only grow when they are pushed beyond their current limits, when they are torn and rebuilt stronger. The same is true for your mind, your habits, your life. If you always choose comfort, you remain stagnant, stuck at the same level, never expanding, never evolving. Discipline is the force that pushes you into discomfort willingly, knowing that on the other side lies strength. It is the willingness to embrace the burn in the gym, the long hours at work, the repeated practice of skills, the sacrifices of pleasure now for purpose later. Every act of discipline is an act of rebellion against mediocrity, and every act of rebellion builds momentum toward greatness. The truth is that discipline is not glamorous. It is often lonely, quiet, and invisible. No one applauds you for going to bed early instead of wasting the night away. No one cheers for you when you resist temptations that others indulge in freely. No one sees the hours of practice, the hundreds of repetitions, the sacrifices behind closed doors. But those hidden choices stack up, and one day the results will be undeniable. Greatness is not created in the spotlight, it is revealed there. It is created in the shadows, in the private decisions where you chose discipline over comfort again and again until your character was forged into steel. People will look at your achievements and call them talent or luck, but you will know the truth. It was discipline. The unseen war you fought daily against comfort. Discipline over comfort is also about respect. Respect for yourself and the vision you hold. When you choose comfort, you are telling yourself that your dreams are negotiable, that they can wait, that they are not worth the sacrifice. When you choose discipline, you declare to yourself that your goals matter, that your potential matters, that you refuse to settle for less than what you are capable of. Discipline builds trust in yourself, because each time you follow through you are proving that your word is stronger than your excuses. And with that trust comes confidence, with confidence comes momentum, and with momentum comes greatness. It is not about punishing yourself. It is about elevating yourself, demanding more from yourself because you know you are capable of more in the end. Comfort gives you nothing lasting. It gives you a moment of ease, but robs you of a lifetime of fulfillment. Discipline may cost you in the short term, but it pays you back with strength, with growth, with transformation. Every act of discipline is an investment, and the return is a life of purpose, power, and greatness. The road to greatness is paved with discomfort, and only those who are willing to walk it with discipline will ever experience the freedom and fulfillment that lies on the other side. Silent work produces loud results because the effort that transforms your life is not the effort that people see. It is the effort you give when no one is watching. In a world obsessed with appearances, with showing every move, with seeking validation at every step, there is a power in moving in silence, in keeping your head down and focusing only on the work itself. Too many people waste energy trying to prove they are working instead of actually working. They want to broadcast every effort, to gain praise before the result has even arrived, but this does not create transformation. True growth, true success, true greatness comes from the work you do in the quiet. The work you do when there is no applause, no recognition, no acknowledgement. Silent work is where consistency and discipline meet, where you separate yourself from the crowd, where you build the foundation that no one sees but everyone will eventually feel when you commit to silent work. You detach from the need for instant approval. You stop working for attention and you start working for results. That shift is powerful because it forces you to focus on substance instead of appearance. The hours you spend in practice, the books you study, the sacrifices you make, the early mornings, the late nights, the grind that no one posts about, that is where greatness is born. The results become the only announcement you need. The success becomes the only proof you require. The transformation becomes the only statement worth making. Silent work teaches you patience because you cannot expect recognition along the way. It teaches you humility because you must be willing to grow in the dark. It teaches you strength because the only thing keeping you going is your vision and your commitment. Not the cheers of others. Loud results are not created by loud words. They are created by quiet repetitions. The athlete who trains long before the crowd gathers, the student who studies long after everyone else is asleep. The entrepreneur who builds when no one believes in the vision, the artist who creates without expecting applause. These are the people who understand that silent work compounds into greatness. Every unseen repetition builds skill. Every unnoticed effort builds momentum. Every quiet sacrifice creates a foundation that cannot be denied. And when the results finally arrive, they are so undeniable, so loud, that they drown out every doubt, every critic, every excuse. People will look at you and wonder where the success came from, but you will know the truth. It was built in silence. The reason silent work is so powerful is because it aligns your actions with your purpose instead of your ego. Ego wants attention. It wants to be seen. It wants to be praised. Purpose wants progress. It wants to grow. It wants to move closer to the vision. When you choose to work silently, you are choosing purpose over ego. You are saying, I don't need to be seen right now. I need to become better right now. That mindset creates unstoppable momentum because you are no longer distracted by what others think or whether they approve. You stop wasting energy on appearances and you channel all of it into execution. Silent work is execution without distraction, and execution without distraction is unstoppable. There is also a deep satisfaction that comes from surprising the world with your results. When you work in silence, you create an element of unpredictability. People may doubt you, they may underestimate you, they may dismiss you because they do not see the effort, but that only makes the results louder when they arrive. There is nothing more powerful than showing up transformed, stronger, sharper, more successful than anyone expected, because you chose to build quietly and let the outcome do the talking. Silent work turns you into someone unshakable because your motivation is no longer tied to validation. You do not need the world to clap for you while you work, because you know the world will have no choice but to notice when the results speak for themselves. Silent work produces loud results because it is the truest form of preparation. You are preparing when others are relaxing. You are building when others are distracted. You are investing when others are wasting. That preparation ensures that when opportunity appears, you are ready when challenges arise. You are strong when critics speak. You are unbothered. You do not need to tell anyone what you are building, because the moment will come when the work you've put in reveals itself louder than anything you could have said. Silent work is the discipline to stay unseen while you create, the patience to endure without recognition, and the faith to know that in time your results will echo louder than any words ever could. Commitment to becoming your greatest version begins with the decision that you will no longer settle for anything less than who you are capable of being. Most people drift through life accepting mediocrity, telling themselves that they will change someday, that they will pursue their potential when the timing feels right. But that day never comes. The truth is that greatness does not arrive by accident. It arrives through relentless commitment. It is not about what you say you want. It is about what you are willing to sacrifice, endure, and overcome to get there. Commitment means you burn the bridge back to your old self. You close the door to excuses, and you declare that no matter how long it takes or how hard it gets, You will not stop until you become the person you know you are destined to be. Your greatest version is not found in a moment of inspiration. It is forged through countless choices where you commit to growth instead of stagnation. Every day you wake up with the opportunity to either repeat who you were yesterday or to take one step closer to who you are meant to be. That step may be uncomfortable, it may be inconvenient, it may demand effort when you would rather rest, but commitment does not negotiate with comfort. It demands that you hold yourself to a higher standard, a standard that ignores excuses and thrives on consistency. When you commit to your greatest version, you stop asking, "What do I feel like doing?" and you start asking, "What must I do to become who I am meant to be?" That shift changes everything because your actions are no longer dictated by moods. They are dictated by mission. Commitment requires vision, a clear picture of the person you are becoming. Without vision, you will drift, but with vision, you have a compass that guides every decision. You begin to measure your actions not by convenience but by alignment. Does this choice move me closer to my greatest version, or does it pull me away? That question becomes your filter, and through it, you begin to sculpt your life with intention. Commitment gives you the power to say no to distractions, to walk away from environments that no longer serve you, to replace destructive habits with empowering ones. It is not about being perfect. It is about being persistent, showing up again and again, refusing to quit on yourself even when the path feels heavy. Becoming your greatest version also requires embracing failure as part of the process. Commitment is not about avoiding setbacks. It is about refusing to let setbacks define you. Every obstacle, every mistake, every failure carries a lesson. And when you are truly committed, you extract the lesson and keep moving forward. The uncommitted allow failure to break them, but the committed use failure to build them. Each challenge becomes fuel, each rejection becomes redirection, each hardship becomes a stepping stone. Your greatest version is not the version that never struggles. It is the version that grows stronger with every struggle. Commitment ensures that no matter how many times you fall, you rise again with more wisdom, more strength, more resilience. Commitment to your greatest version is also about patience, because transformation does not happen overnight. In a world addicted to instant results, patience has become rare, but true greatness requires time. The body does not transform in a week. The mind does not rewire in a month. Habits are not mastered in a season. Commitment keeps you steady when results are not visible yet. It reminds you that the seeds you are planting will grow if you continue to water them. It teaches you to trust the process, to endure the waiting, to stay focused even when the progress feels invisible. Commitment is the force that carries you through the seasons of silence until the harvest arrives. Your greatest version is already within you, waiting to be unleashed, but it will only emerge through absolute commitment. And not half-hearted effort, not conditional effort, not effort that depends on circumstances, but full, unshakable commitment. It is the decision that nothing will stop you, that no excuse will hold you, that no distraction will derail you. It is the moment you declare that you will not live as a fraction of yourself, that you will not settle for average, that you will not look back at your life with regret knowing you could have been more. Commitment transforms desire into destiny, and once you fully commit, the path to your greatest version becomes inevitable.